Welcome back to Property Play. I'm your host, Elena Saradidis. We brought Georgia back again. She's known to call us the Greek girls in the office.
Opa.
Today, we're going to talk about what does it mean to get a good deal in this market. If you are a buyer, this episode is for you.
Right. So we have a lot of clients that come to us and say, we want to buy a house, we're ready, and we want a good deal. And we're like, okay, we're going to get you, we're going to find you a good deal. And I think the only problem is I think they think every property is going to have a discount, 20% off, 30% off, 5% off. But I think what we were saying earlier is that a lot of people don't understand that some of these properties have been priced already at the deal price. They're already discounted.
I think the best way to phrase it too is the list price is a marketing number. That's all it is. Sometimes people list with different strategies in mind.
Right.
They'll list it with a strategy that I've left room for negotiation, and that's when you're going to see these huge, steep discounts, making someone feel like they really got a deal, which it just wasn't priced at the number that it should sell for, or it would have already sold at close to list price.
Right.
Sometimes people price it at way below market value, and they try and drum up a bidding war. Doesn't mean you're not going to get a deal. There's less competition out there in this market than there is in a usual market,
Right.
but you are competing. And you are going to sell firm in the shortest amount of time, usually for the most amount of money.
Absolutely.
Because there's competition.
Right.
And the other strategy is you really did take a look at the data and you priced it exactly at what it should sell for. And usually that means you looked at the last couple sales and you priced it a little bit below them. And that's why you're not seeing a steep decrease on those type of product. It got priced for what it should actually sell for.
Right. Yeah. And we've sold clients' houses recently and condos that they've paid asking price. But what, and they may go back to their family and say, hey, we bought a property and somebody might say to them, hey, did you get a great deal? And I mean, the buyer knows that they got a great deal because we've explained to them the data and the information. But their family sometimes tells them, what, you paid asking price or you paid over asking price in this market? What they didn't understand is that, this property was probably worth, let's call it 800, let's say 3 or 4 years ago, and maybe now it's worth 700 for argument's sake. And they might have gotten it for 685 and it was only listed for 689. That's a great deal for today, considering that same property could have sold for 800 a few years ago. The deal's there. I think we just have to explain to people that everything is property specific. We have to look at the property and say to our clients, this is priced here, here, or here. So, because it's here, guess what? You may not get a big discount off the price.
So I had a client recently that we were shopping for a condo downtown Toronto. First property we walked in at, I was like, do you like the property? He's like, I like it. He's like, how much do you think we can get it for? And I'm like, you're looking at about 50 to 60 under ask. I told him it. Second place we went to, he asked me the same question. How much do you think we could get it for? And I was like, you're probably looking about 40,000 under ask. The next property we look at, he goes, how much do you think we can get this one at? And the next one is the one he actually wanted. And I'm like, you're going to get it at list price. And he went, what? And I'm like, yeah. How does this compare to the other two properties we saw? He goes, this one's better.
Right.
How does this one compare price to the other ones we saw? This one's priced better. This one priced to sell. The other one's priced for negotiation.
Right.
There's a big difference.
Right.
You still won. The only difference is they didn't list it at 800,000 and offered it to you at 750.
Right.
They listed it at 730 and offered it to you at 730.
Right.
You still won. The deal was a good deal. That type of product in this market is still selling. Well-priced properties that look and show the best still show. There's still competition in good inventory.
Absolutely. There's quite a bit of competition. We just listed something now that has had 43 or 44 showings in, we're not even up to a week. A week would be in a couple of days. So 40. So what that tells me is there's about 40 plus or minus, because maybe some have just started, but there's about 40 real buyers out there looking at this kind of product right now. So
Can I ask, where was this located?
E6, so
Okay.
we talk in districts. E6, which is Birchmount, Kennedy, and Danforth Road.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're priced competitively. So the way we price this one is it needs some work. It's a good lot. It's a detached brick bungalow, and we priced it sort of at we need to get at least this. This is what we need to get. It's an estate sale. They don't need to get anything. I mean, the estate's going to get, a gift, right? The children. But we price it sort of very competitively so we can get the activity and get as many people in there as possible to see what the best price can be for our customers. But again, not every property, not every seller is willing to discount $50,000 because maybe they've already discounted it because they've spoken to their agent. Their agent has said, look, we can price it this way, or this way. And we let our clients decide and give them the pros and cons of each option, correct? Like this might take a little bit of time. This, this might take a little less time. This might happen in a week.
And I think the thing people don't realize too is the conversation we're having with sellers. If you choose to go the price that you want to go at, it will take longer for you to sell.
Right.
So don't be scared by days on market. Like they might have been prepared to wait on the market.
Absolutely.
Don't be scared by cancel relists. It happens.
Right.
Sellers still are a little bit, uneasy at the fact that they're losing. We've been 4 years since the peak of the market.
Right.
4 years.
Right.
Like they're not seeing those numbers right now.
Right.
But it's hard to swallow your neighbor sold for a certain number.
And, and I think the other problem is that a lot of these sellers are thinking top down. They're thinking like what they could have had, not what they bought it for. And I'm not talking about the people that might have bought it in the last 3-4 years. I'm talking about people that bought it 10 years ago, 20 years ago. They bought it here and they're here. And maybe that they could have gotten here, but they're still up.
But it's perceived loss.
Right.
It's loss that they actually...
Because they're thinking top down.
But do you know how many times a day I'll be like, were you thinking of selling at that time? And they'll be like, no.
Right.
And I was
Could
like,
you have sold at that time?
They're like, no.
No.
So I'm like, then you would have never gotten that amount.
Right.
Like,
right.
You wouldn't have had it.
Right.
So like, again, it's opportunity in the market. And if you're a buyer looking for an opportunity, this is your opportunity.
There are so many great deals out there right now. And we're, obviously as agents, people are going to say, well, of course you're going to say that. But there are some great buys out there. And I'm getting a lot of my investors out there now. We're talking to our finance people. And
the way that I phrase it to people and the way that I think everyone should talk about it is replacement value. If they cannot afford to build what you're trying to buy at the cost that you're buying it at, you are winning.
Absolutely.
Because they cannot afford to redo it.
Right.
If you're buying a house today for a cost that they couldn't rebuild that house for, it's not possible. You won. They can't build your house for the same money.
Absolutely.
If you're buying a condo for the cost that they can't build a condo for, you won. So that is the sweet spot. You need to be looking at how much does it cost to replace the product I'm buying it at? And if the replacement cost is more than what I'm paying, fantastic deal. That is the it's go time deal.
Right. And I think in the condo market, the resale condo market right now, I'm in my 50s. I have kids that are young adults and we have invested for them. For us first, and obviously it'll go to them filtered through. But I'm also telling some of my customers that are in their, it doesn't matter the age, that have young adults that haven't sort of figured out the plan for them. There's some great condo deals right now, resale deals that were $100,000 to $150,000 higher, and you can help them just get their foot in, get their first foot in. Help supplement the mortgage for them. They're getting jobs. If they're in their 20s, 22, 23, 24, they're probably working. Help them, maybe give them a little bit of their, what's it called? Inheritance now. Like, it doesn't have to be all of it, but just get them in the door because 10, 15 years from now, they're not going to be able to buy anything in the city. That's my forecast.
Well, I remember back in 2021, I was shopping with buyers and their budget was like $500, $550, and there was nothing for them to buy.
Nothing.
There are condos on the market sub 500 right now.
Yeah.
There's some in the
great
threes.
buildings. Yeah, in great buildings.
There is opportunity like there hasn't been in a while.
Right.
And you're not competing. You can add conditions. But well-priced inventory in good buildings
You're competing.
Still sell.
You're competing.
No, but it still sells. And what you should be looking at if you're a buyer and you're looking at something that's a little bit more competitive and you are competing and you're like, this doesn't feel like a good deal, go look at what it used to sell for in that building. What was the peak of the market? What was the peak of the market in that area that you're looking? What were they selling for? Because odds are they'll get back to that price.
Absolutely.
It will take time, but it will. if they've hit there before, they will hit it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other questions for me?
I don't have any questions for you right now, other than I'm not sure how you do all the business that you do, but I'm going to leave it at that. and
Lots
how
of coffee, as you know.
Yeah, lots of coffee.
Yeah, today she asked me what type of coffee I drink, and I was like, black.
I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. No filter, just black. Got it. Yeah.
We're jumping off the walls. We have gray hair. We sell real estate.
Yeah.
Hope you like Property Play. If you like content like this, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Once again, this was Georgia from LePage Signature, and I hope you like this episode.